Alrighty guys, a bit of a different video today. We've been playing a lot of 2xKO here on the channel, so I just wanted to make a probably short video just kind of giving my thoughts on the game and just how I'm feeling about it. You know, some personal pros and cons. I'm not a pro player or anything, sort of just a general feeling towards the game. Head over to my own channel, you know what I'm saying? Put on some gameplay, just run some gameplay here in the background, put it on mute. As you see any weirdness happening, it's because I am covering myself. So if I'm doubled up, hey, it is what it is. But first and foremost, probably the biggest positive I could give to this game overall is that it's just fun. The moment-to-moment gameplay is a lot of fun. I feel like in the first beta, I just kind of couldn't figure out what to do. It just seemed a little odd. But in this beta, and especially after watching other people play, finding the fun stuff to do with at least this team that I'm playing, Blitzcrank and Vi, it came pretty easily. You know, once I found out sort of the game plan of what to do, the game is just a lot of fun to hit these combos, open people up. The actual feeling of the game is way better in this alpha test 2 or whatever it is compared to the last session. I don't know if people really remember the last session. The game kind of felt like off. I don't know if it was the hit stun or just like the way the game was interpreting button hits into commands. I don't know. Something just felt off with the last beta. It was like a year since that last beta, so they've done a lot of work to just make the game feel better, and it feels great now. It's something you wouldn't even think about or notice unless you have played that, unless you did play previous alpha tests for this. So that's the only reason why I recognized it. And it is a lot of fun, which is probably the main, positive you could give it. It's fun to hop into and just run games. And in terms of just, hopping into it, the controls is probably something that some people are going to have as a pro, some people may have as a con. The low barrier to entry for the controls mean that execution is not that difficult just to do special moves or the combos or anything. I think that's overall a good thing. Just doing simple B and Bs into special move into super easy to do. There's no motion inputs, which again, some people might see that as a con, but I still think the game has enough like high level technical things to do, whether it be, tight timing with like Vi's electric upper cancel or mix-ups with assist mechanics and things like that. There's still definitely a lot of stuff to sink your teeth into from a mechanical aspect if you are, a higher level player. But it's also just an easy game for newer players or casual players to just hop into and not feel like they have to completely relearn how to play the game just to hop in for a few matches. Very akin to something like Smash Bros, where, pro level players are doing these crazy IDJs and whatnot. But you could also just anyone can pick up a controller and play Smash Bros fairly easily. This feels pretty much like that, just in a 2D tag fighter context instead of a platform fighter. Another pro I'd give it is the characters. All of them are fairly unique. No two characters are sort of like the same archetype, and every character in the game has their own sort of like gimmick or play style, which I think is awesome and gives a lot of uniqueness to everybody. The character and roster of this game being League of Legends characters doesn't do anything for me personally. I couldn't care less about the IP of League of Legends, but I'm sure that's, hype for some people. Getting to play their favorite characters is now in a fighting game. But I guess being that they are from League, the character designs themselves and, their character's personality and all that is pretty good, at least for the roster so far, which some people probably have the roster size as a con for the game because there's only, I believe, 8 characters right now, and in the last Alpha Lab, which was a year ago, to this one, they've only added 2, being Vi and Blitzcrank. The way I look at it is, with the characters being so unique and having, they're all their own unique mechanics, and taking into account them having to balance the assists, not just for, basic assist fighter, but also for all the different ways you can use assists, being 2x assist or double down or freestyle, whatever. I feel like they have a lot more to consider when it comes to actually making these characters past just making their movesets and what their assists are. They also have to take into account how all these assists are going to interact with other characters that they're getting tagged in from and all the defensive mechanics that this game has to offer. So as long as they keep rolling out characters and they stay, unique and fun, then I think that's really what matters. Especially when you consider that in that year period between Alpha Lab 1 and 2, it's not like they were just making characters again. Like I said earlier, the game just feels way better to play now. So I feel like once they do get the game to a more steady stable place, which it seems like it is, they'll be able to roll out characters more frequently. Another pro I'd say is the duos mode. Now this isn't one that I personally messed around with myself in this alpha lab, but I think the fact that this is a tag fighter that has the ability for you to just 2v2 people with a friend obviously is a positive. I mean, it's pretty much, at least as far as I'm aware, the only game that not only has this, but makes it like a focal point. I think appeal a lot to casual audiences or people who are just gonna, play every once in a while and want to just hop in with a buddy. Who knows, maybe it'll even help new players come in because they have a friend that plays fighting games already maybe, and they're like, hey, get this free fighting game. That's another pro. It's free to play, so the barrier to entry is even lower. You got the friend that plays fighting games. He's like, hey, download 2xKO. I could just carry you and teach you how to play, and we could just 2v2 people. That's pretty cool, and it's the only fighting game really that you're able to do that in, at least as far as I'm aware. One of the cons, it's pretty minor for me, is the lobby system. I really hope that just a queue up while in training mode is in the works and gets added here soon, because that's what I want to do. I just want to be in training mode. I don't like standing in a virtual arcade waiting for my game to get queued up. I just want to be in training mode, labbing stuff out, or just moving my character around while waiting for that. Especially in ranked. Maybe in casual it's fine to just keep it there, but for ranked grinders, I should be able to queue in training mode just like every other fighting game. Another weird thing that I find about this game, I guess this would be a con, is for how easy it is to get in and start executing offense in this game. I feel like this game has so many defensive mechanics that are just not intuitive at all. And this could go back into like the control scheme of the game. At first it was a big con for me because I think the control scheme needs to be more customizable, because I can tell you how many times in the first 2 days of me playing I just whiffed level 1 super right in front of somebody because I tried to run up and grab them, which grab in Street Fighter is both light buttons, but in this game both light buttons is super 1. So I definitely would like the ability to just remap macros, although now after playing for a while I've gotten used to the control scheme, but still. And with all the different defensive mechanics, like I said, they're just kind of on weird, unintuitive places. I play on a fight stick, so I don't know if it's any better on a controller. Hold on, let's damn, I talked for 17 minutes already. Control scheme on controller just feels a lot more intuitive the way that they have it laid out. But either way, just more of the ability to customize things. That's just a straight positive. I don't know why they don't have that already, because for me personally, a lot of the defensive mechanics I find myself not even using. I really have to force myself to use parry just because it's on such a weird button command that's unintuitive to me. Same thing with the push block or retreating guard, all these things. I genuinely don't think I've used retreating guard outside of the tutorial, I think, ever, at least on purpose. And I definitely need to, but it's just it's on such a weird button command that I don't even think about it. Again, maybe it's just me having to get used to the controls thing, but I think if I was able to remap that to something else, especially parry, again, this is like a Street Fighter comparison. Used to parry just being both mediums, both mediums, medium punch, medium kick in Street Fighter, but in this game it's on light and heavy, just all on the top row. So I don't know. It's, again, just one of those things. You get used to the control scheme, but I feel like the unintuitiveness of the defensive mechanics, just using them, kind of goes in hand with the control scheme. If it was more customizable, it'd be more intuitive to use. So yeah, probably the biggest con for me is the balance of the game. Not that I think the camp balance is turbo bad, but I do think certain characters are just way overtuned, aka Echo and Yasuo. Echo and Yasuo are clearly the two best characters in the game. I think Echo is clearly the best character in the game just because of the basically impossible mix-up stuff he can do with his rewind plus an assist. And then Yasuo just shits out damage like he's Darius, but also isn't Darius, so he's not this big body, lower recovery character. He's an all-rounder that also happens to do the most damage in the game. And it just seems like some characters get to the fun a lot easier. I've been playing Vi Blitzcrank, and I know a lot of people complain about Blitzcrank, but he's the grappler, bro. He's gonna be annoying, but he's really, compared to those two that I named, compared to Jinx, Echo, and Yasuo, you should not be worried about Blitzcrank, bro. But I don't think the balance is super off or anything, or that any one character is insanely broken, but I just think like every fighting game, there's some clear outliers. And I'm sure as the game progresses and gets updated and whatnot, through a bunch of patches and whatnot, the balance will become better. So that's pretty much it. Overall, pretty positive on the game, just because of the fact that I just have fun playing it. The moment gameplay is fun, like I already said, and it's just easy to jump in and fun to just run a bunch of matches back to back. The game will be free to play once it leaves the alpha state and I guess goes into early access or whatever they're going to call it. Then it'll be free, and I recommend trying it out. Whether you're somebody who already likes fighting games or a new player, the barrier to entry, this game's pretty easy to pick up and just start mashing buttons and doing stuff on screen. And again, because of duos, if you got a friend that plays fighting games, then more than likely he's going to try out 2XKO. If they've not already been playing it, you can call in and assist for him to help you out. So, yeah, that's it for this one. I'll see you guys on the next one.